Hello, it's John. It's my second walking video today, and I wanted to talk to you about aliens, mainly because it's been a topic that's been close to my heart for decades, and also because it's a beautiful day and Patch and I are posting a letter. A very human thing to post a letter with your dog. Let me tell you about some of my experiences so far in life. I had some encounters when I was younger, some strange encounters around the age of 6 and 7 of what felt like some sort of, kept having migraines and seeing what I now would recognize as two cells being kind of forced together. Still don't fully understand what that was about, but it was a very powerful experience and happened quite a few times. And then I remember 13, 14, I remember seeing like what could have been a weather balloon, but it identified as a UFO when I lived briefly near Manchester in the 80s. And that was, it hung in the sky next to this cloud. It was quite a dark cloud and a dark balloon, kind of like a long balloon shape, and that really stuck with me. I'm pretty sure I managed to go and get my brother and tell him to take a look, and I watched it for some time and then it disappeared. And then as soon as the century turned and and YouTube appeared, I was obsessed, still kind of am, about UFO videos, and I spent what felt like maybe 14 years learning all about the different shapes and sizes and where they were spotted the most. And in that journey, learned a lot about the kind of the backdrop to not just visitations from other worlds, but also what us humans have been up to trying to replicate or reverse engineer our own craft. And then when I went through my awakening in 2017, that started to kind of wane a little, because I realized first of all that many of us are from different planets, and so I guess I describe it as a phase of us being the aliens. I just felt like, well, there's no point in chasing something outside of me when it's already inside of me, that part of my soul lineage is living on many different planets. And then on that journey, I had also witnessed quite a few different UFOs, and I don't know all the different dates and times. Certainly over, I think some of this was since 2017, I would see things like my kids had seen a couple like lights flying very fast near the town of North Berwick, which is where I grew up, and then also experiences of keep going, Patch. He stopped. Why have you stopped, Patch? Keep going. On you go. Just experiences of I remember my son seeing like these two kind of, it was like a craft that had two almost like spheres, and it was joined in the middle with a kind of like cylinder. I don't think it was that big, but it flew over our car as we were driving back from North Berwick one day. And then other experiences included seeing some craft like near Haddington. I used to drive home past there, driving along East Lothian, and just seeing some craft flying, really, and this was before drones, or something before they were available at at a price that anyone could buy, or almost anyone, and seeing these lights like shoot up vertically and then stop and hover, which was fascinating to see. And then probably My most intense experiences were in, maybe to this date, since I visited the Iseti Ranch in the west coast of the US, in Portland. I'd love to go back. And there was these, we can only describe them as light ships that would, the owner of the ranch would summon, and they would fly around next to Mount Adams, in and out of the mountain, just performing impossible feats. And there's something about the light, when you see the lights of these craft, that they just seem very different. There's a postbox. And they were incredible. And also, what is coming back to me is the experience of seeing them being summoned. And I can only describe the ranch owner at Iseti. He was performing, like, it kind of looked like Qigong or Tai Chi, and he was in the middle of the field, facing directly at the mountain, standing, doing these big sweeping movements. And really quite quickly after he started that, the craft started to appear. And still to this day, we don't have the technology that is, at least that we're publicly aware of, to see multiple craft flying around at such speeds and such bright luminosity at such a distance. Plus a whole load of other incredible things happened even on that night. It's quite funny. I remember arriving there and seeing all the chairs out facing the field, looking towards the mountain, and it's just like, oh yeah, this is where we sit here and watch UFOs. It's like, wow, that's so cool. I didn't expect to see any, and then literally they turned up in just a few minutes later. So there was those experiences, and then certainly the closest proximity I've had, and maybe the most physical, was seeing this big Galactic Federation ship, which I believe to be Athena, a huge, almost cylindrical ship that was about 5 or 6 moons in length, flying across the sky just to the south of where I live. And it was like 5:26 a.m. or something, as the song goes. Of course I wrote a song about it. That was an incredible experience, and when I asked my guides, they explained that it was them and many other beings that have gone to a lot of effort to say hello, to come by, and it was just before all the lockdowns began. Of course I wasn't aware of that at the time. And since then, I definitely continue to see things in the sky. They're not just was it like 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks, seeing what was a kind of, I describe it as a kind of ad hoc formation, so not quite coordinated, but these were lights in the sky that you might think are maybe a satellite or something, but they're moving faster and kind of wobbling around, but they were still at distance. They're really high up. They felt like above, at the very edge or above our atmosphere, and they were flying. They seemed to be in a rough formation, kind of scattered around an aeroplane, but they were maybe themselves bigger than the aeroplane, and there was many of them. And that was, in fact, that was just around Christmas time, wasn't it? Now I'm remembering when it was. And that was a really powerful experience. Now, whenever I see them, when I see craft in the sky, I take a moment and ask, who are they? And just feeling into it, I'd say a lot of the craft that we see are human, like man-made, human-made. And so you can feel the energy of that, right? Just like when you look at a plane, it's like a human's flying it, whether they're in the plane or whether it's a drone. It's like the energy of it feels like a vibration much closer to ours. And then the sensations of discerning whether it's an alien craft, galactic brother and sister flying it, their energy is often of a higher vibration. Not always, but of a fourth or fifth dimension. And fifth dimensional energy feels amazing. It feels really lovely, and just this really beautiful, loving energy. And that makes me feel very, happy when I connect with that. And that's how I felt when I saw Galactic Federation ship Athena, so big and so close, as she hovered slowly across the sky, and I just stood there crying these tears. And I would say so much of our journeys, when we're feeling into first contact, or should I say what my guides explained this morning is Arcturian contact, phase 1, was much more about really feeling into what preparation will you make. Some of the first aspects of it are just the awareness that there's many of our brothers and sisters out there across the universe, and that's okay. It's okay for them to be real, that we won't freak out, that we won't just say to ourselves, you know what, I'm giving up, I'm going to, go and live in a tree for the rest of my life, or somehow stop what I'm doing and just freak out. And and then the other side of it is, when we do start to have awareness of our galactic brothers and sisters, then just realizing that, actually, maybe there's a chance that we can coexist, like in this lifetime, that it would be okay to have contact, and for us not, for both galactic beings and humans not to completely freak out with each other and slip into fear. And what I loved when I was chatting with my guides about it this morning, and also one of my friends, and if you're listening, you know who you are, we were chatting about, the kind of the preparation for first contacts, and some of it is preparing the land, preparing the environment that you're in. There's no coincidence. You're living where you're living for a reason. If you can create a happy, healthy, balanced and grounded, safe feeling and environment around you, you're much more likely to be an energetic match for those higher vibration galactic beings. And I will go down here and show you briefly the landing site. You've no idea how many, maybe because I don't have an idea, how many times I've walked down here to these playing fields down here and seen future landings from Arcturian ships. I remember the first time that I would describe as a future memory, like a vision, right? Was that someone, because it didn't feel like me, certainly not at that time, someone would come down, walk down here, and then when they did, that's when these ships would turn up, or to begin with, like one ship. And maybe in part because I'd come down walking here with Patch, and I'd look up at the skies and just see these. That was around the time I was seeing a lot of dragons in the sky. It was the first time my dragon guides and dragons in general appeared to me. And then also it began to feel like some of the first experiences of just being aware that a lot of these UFOs, galactic ships can also cloak themselves in or as clouds. So that really helped open my mind, and if I was to share how many times I've experienced those, cloaked ships, like all the time, I'd say almost every day. Sometimes 2 days or 3 days will go by and I don't see them, but it's almost all the time. So let's head down here, Patch, and we can show, so we don't walk down here much. So yeah, the landing was just down here in this field that's ahead of us, and it's a rugby football club, and it's funny because I don't think you really need that larger space. In fact, just this area right in front of us here would be fine, but it feels like it's something that feels like a good space. And it's funny because it's really public, right? But at night it is very quiet here. You sometimes get cars down here, but most of the time it's pretty quiet. And what I do enjoy about this area is you get such a high kind of vibration energy from everyone that's come on, Pedge, that's playing football. And of course this big beautiful wall, which is going to need some repairing. I have past life memories of building it, in fact building many of the walls around this town. So I was very happy in my, what was I, mid-30s into 40s, where I started to remember how to build this, well, not to build but to repair, certainly. So I need to do some work around here on our stretch of wall as well. Maybe I'll start to do it on Friday mornings. But anyway, yeah, this was the area I wanted to show you. And I feel like preparing yourself in dream time, remembering your dreams, remembering your mission about why you came here, all these aspects are important to learning how to connect with first contact in a safe and sustainable manner. So yeah, I hope this finds you well. Sending so much love.